The air was thick with tension, the kind that makes your skin prickle. "You'll never amount to anything," my father spat, his voice dripping with disdain. In that moment, as I stood there, the weight of his words crashing over me like a tidal wave, I felt smaller than a speck of dust. It wasn't just a dismissal. It was a declaration of war against my dreams. I had always been the odd one out, the dreamer in a family of pragmatists. My desire to become a social media influencer, specifically one focused on mental health advocacy, was met with ridicule. "How ridiculous," my mother scoffed, her eyes rolling. "You think you can just post some videos and make a difference? You're an embarrassment." Those words stung, not just because they came from the people who were supposed to uplift me, but because they echoed my deepest insecurities. I was a failure before I had even begun. But in that moment of despair, something ignited within me. I felt a fierce resolve to prove them wrong, to show them that my dreams mattered. I packed my bags, left that suffocating atmosphere behind, and dove headfirst into my passion. I started creating content, pouring my heart out about the struggles of mental health, sharing my own battles with anxiety and depression. I was met with skepticism, but also with pockets of support from strangers who resonated with my story. Each like, each comment felt like a lifeline, fueling my relentless pursuit. The nights were long, filled with self-doubt and the gnawing fear that my family might be right. But I kept pushing through the darkness, crafting videos that spoke to the heart of mental health awareness. I built a community, a sanctuary for those who felt alone, who had been dismissed just like me. With every post, I felt a little stronger, a little more validated. Months turned into years, and as my platform grew, so did my impact. I transformed barren lands into thriving ecosystems, not just in the physical world, but within the minds of those who followed me. I organized mental health workshops, created online support groups, and shared resources that helped thousands find their footing in life. I was no longer just an influencer. I was a movement. Yet the ache of my family's dismissal lingered. I had not just left them behind. I had carved a new path, one they had deemed impossible. But as I gained momentum, I began to wonder if they were watching from afar. Did they see the change? Did they recognize the worth I had found in myself? Finally, the day came when I decided to return home. My heart raced as I approached the familiar old house, the place where dreams had been crushed under the weight of harsh words. I was nervous, but I was also proud. I had something to show them, a testament to my journey. As I entered the living room, my family was gathered, their expressions a mix of surprise and confusion. "What are you doing here?" my father grumbled, though I could sense a hint of curiosity in his tone. I smiled, a genuine smile that felt foreign but liberating. "I came to share what I've built," I said, my voice steady. I pulled out my phone and began to play a montage of my journey. Clips of my videos, testimonials from people whose lives had changed because of our community, and images of the workshops I had hosted. The room fell silent as they watched. My mother's brow furrowed in disbelief, while my father's jaw clenched. I could see the flicker of realization in their eyes, the slow dawning of understanding that I was no longer the naive girl they had dismissed. I was a force of nature, and I had made a difference. But the most powerful moment came when I shared a message from a young woman named Sarah. She had reached out to me after a particularly dark time in her life, and my videos had helped her find the courage to seek help. "Thank you for saving my life," she had written. "You showed me that it's okay to not be okay." Tears streamed down my cheeks as I read her words aloud. I glanced at my family, and for the first time, I saw their expressions shift from skepticism to something softer. Regret, perhaps, or even admiration. "I'm sorry," my mother finally whispered, her voice cracking. "I should have believed in you." My father, who had always worn his pride like armor, looked down, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I was wrong," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "You've done something incredible." In that moment, the walls that had divided us began to crumble. I could feel the weight of their past derision lifting. replaced by a newfound respect. It wasn't just about my success. It was about the journey we had all taken. They had dismissed my dreams, but in doing so, they had unwittingly propelled me to discover my true self. As we sat together, sharing stories and laughter, I realized that this was the reconciliation I had yearned for. It wasn't just about proving them wrong. It was about healing the wounds that had festered for so long. I learned that dreams are not just for the dreamers. They can inspire those who once doubted us. My family's journey mirrored my own, and together we began to embrace the importance of mental health awareness. As I left that day, I felt a sense of fulfillment that went beyond any success I had achieved. I had turned the tide, not just for myself, but for my family too. We were no longer divided by fear or misunderstanding. We were united by growth and acceptance. In the end, I didn't just go viral for good. I brought my family along for the ride, transforming not just barren lands into thriving ecosystems, but also barren hearts into spaces of love and understanding. And that was the greatest triumph of all.